Hi, I'm Jason. I want to make a statement about the conflict in Iran. I know I'm a little bit late, but I don't. I've been focused on nomination petitions. I'll make a statement about that sometime later in this week. But I don't think that something as big as the conflict in Iran should be ignored by any politicians. So while I don't have any solution or any answer, I'll let you know my thoughts. Our history with Iran is complicated and messy and unclean, going back since before the Iran-Contra scandal, when I was a baby, even before that, in the 70s and the 1800s. We've been kind of overly involved in the Middle East. I wish that we hadn't started being involved, but pulling out cold turkey is also now, after the fact, is not a good option. You can't just go and bump somebody and leave and say, okay, we're done, no more. Like, that's not the way things happen. So I think it needs to be closely monitored and controlled by the military. When we pulled out of Afghanistan, it was a mess because we did it kind of cold turkey and uncontrolled. I fear that there would be something similar there. There are a lot of reasons. I feel like this administration, anytime that there's more than two pros for something, they go and do it regardless of the cons. The U.S. took at least coercive control of Venezuelan oil. From what I have been told, both Venezuelan oil and Iranian oil is kind of a little bit dirtier than the Saudi oil or the Gulf of Mexico oil that we're used to. So there's a lot of overlap in the buyers of and refiners of the dirtier oil. Right? It's that oil's cheaper, but it's harder to clean. So the places like China that have the facilities to clean the dirty oil, the alternative, if the oil supply from Iran is cut off, one of those is Venezuela. So there is money to be made. I would say follow the money. There is money to be made by cutting off the oil supply in Iran. I'm not up on my history on exactly what we've done over there before the 80s and 90s. Iran helped us during the Iraq War. Probably part of the reason that they are a threat is because the U.S. has sold them weapons in the past. So it's complicated and messy. What I can say is I am glad, even if I would have maybe written something differently or voted differently, I am glad Congress did put forth a bill to address war powers when Congress has not declared war, and they did vote that down. So they did take action. They didn't just stall and just say there's nothing to be done and claim that it's all under the executive branch and that Congress shouldn't do anything. Congress did something. Now, what they did was say, we don't need to do anything, but they did it in an official capacity. They took a vote. They wrote a bill. They took a vote. They did it the right way, even if it's not the outcome. Like I said, after you start, I don't know that you can pull out that quick. So I don't know if I would have voted it down if I was in Congress. Like I said, it's messy. I don't have the time or the international intelligence information to make those kind of decisions when I have a full-time job on top of a family. So I'm not happy with the situation, but I think there are some messy entanglements where there is reasons that we're doing this beyond just what is internationally moral and responsible. So I have a lot of mixed feelings. I know that doesn't give you anything concrete, but like I said, I feel like every politician should make their opinion known. My opinion is that this is complicated, messy, and difficult, and I don't like it, but I don't have a solution. Just cold turkey pulling out and stopping any military action in the Middle East is not responsible now after the fact. It probably wasn't responsible to start that action in the first place, but it's not responsible to stop and pull out cold turkey, after the mess we created. So I don't have a good solution, but I just felt like I need to make a statement about it. And like I said, I am, as inept as Congress, as non-functional as Congress has been in the past year, they did put forth a motion. They let a bill get to the floor. They voted on it, and they made a decision. So that is more than they have done in the past 9 months. So that's my wishy-washy non-stance on the situation in Iran. So thank you for listening.